Hello there guys, it's Jamie here. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Jamie and the Broken Pancreas. Now, viewers of my YouTube channel might be a bit unsure about what this is. This is sort of my new podcast. Took a little break from it. I took a little break from all content while I just got through some busy work stuff. But I'm back in the swing of things now. And I decided that if I'm recording a podcast into a microphone, why not do it on video too? Because I don't know about you, I love to put YouTube videos on, like really long YouTube videos on in the background while I'm working, and just, I guess, listen to whatever's going on, whatever garbage someone is spilling out into their camera. So I'm going to do it into my camera. But it is still available in the standard podcast channel too. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else. I think, I don't know anyone who doesn't use Spotify or Apple Podcasts who listen to their podcast, but hey, my analytics show that there are people using other platforms, so hello to you, and hello to my Apple and Spotify crew too. Now, if you are listening on Spotify, I can do this thing where I can ask questions and do polls and stuff like that. So if you want to get involved, I think it works on Spotify, then just scroll down. There must be some sort of option. Maybe I'll check it out myself and see if it even works. But I think we can have some fun with that, and we can share some responses. We can open up the discussion again, because this podcast is basically just me rambling on for, I guess, 20 minutes, half an hour every week. I am in the process of getting some guests booked in. I'm investing a little bit of money into the podcast going forward. So I'm going to be getting a studio and a director, and I've got some really interesting people lined up. A lot of people from across the world. So I'm not in the middle. A lot of people from other areas of the world that aren't the United Kingdom. So there's a bit of logistics there, trying to get everyone in a time zone where they're not staying up into the wee hours of the morning, or they're not, getting up way too early. So I'm trying to get that all sorted out. So hopefully they'll be along in not too long. But yeah, so welcome to this podcast. I've done enough rambling and housekeeping. But today what I'm going to talk about is I guess one of the reasons that I guess I took a natural break from diabetes content. You see, for just over a month now, I have had, where is it? Here it is. I have had a Dexcom. I'll tell you the story about how I got it. It was a total surprise, and it works with my pump, which is the Tandem T-Slim. Here it is. I got these cool stickers from Type 1 Style, who sorted out all those donations for Ukraine. So check them out if you want some stickers for your pump and your sensors. And yeah, I've had it for about a month. And do you know what? It's been incredible. So much so that for this month, I almost forgot that I was diabetic. So, when I went to my first in-person session appointment with my diabetes specialist nurse, Jane at Western General Hospital, love you, I was just chatting about the inaccuracies I'd been experiencing with the Freestyle Libre 2. So if you haven't checked it out yet, there's a video on my channel where I explain how I was getting these wild, inaccurate Freestyle Libre results and what the cause of it was. Now, I actually found out why this happened because I stumbled across a video by Diabetic, and he talked about vitamin C. Taking on extra vitamin C makes the Freestyle Libre 2 inaccurate. And at that point, I was taking 1,000 milligrams a day of vitamin C. I'm not sure if that's too much. It was like cold and flu season, so I was just trying to protect myself. So I was chugging a load of vitamin C in like tablet form. You can't chug a tablet, but anyway. I was taking loads of vitamin C, and yeah, it was making my Freestyle Libre 2 wildly inaccurate. Like, it was missing hypos, and it was getting really frustrating. And it's never nice to see a massive spike and a roller coaster on a graph, is it? So yeah, so I went in to see Jane, the diabetes specialist nurse at Western General Hospital, and she said, do you just want a Dexcom? And I was like, excuse me? And she said, do you just want a Dexcom? do you want one? And I was like, yes, of course. Now, I am incredibly lucky where I live because Western General Hospital is quite in the grand scheme of things, quite a small catchment area. So luckily, literally by postcode lottery, I have been able to access pumps and Freestyle Libre and, in this case, a Dexcom, maybe a lot earlier than a lot of other people have been able to. I think still adults struggle to get pumps in some places because there's just not the funding. So I was told that there is a certain number of allocated funds to get people a Dexcom. And Jane said, because I use a Tandem T-Slim X2, which has a basal control IQ feature, so it's like a closed loop automatic insulin delivery system, that I would be eligible for the Dexcom. And I was, oh my God, I was so shocked. I wasn't expecting anything. I was just going along and I was having a little moan about my Freestyle Libre 2. We did my HbA1c and it was actually really good. I think it was, God, I can't remember what it was now. Oh, I can't remember what, maybe it was like 6.2 or something like that. I don't know, but it was a lot better than I was expecting it to be. And I was like, well, then I don't know what to do because like, I don't get the trending information when I do finger stick tests, but I'm now not feeling very confident in the Freestyle Libre 2 and it's a bit, annoying really. And then she was like, well, let's get you a Dexcom. So I was like, absolutely, thanks, Jane. I'll take that Dexcom. And then it arrived like a week later. And then a week after that, a few days after that, I was with the Tandem educator, Claire, I think her name is, and she got me all set up on basal IQ. So now what happens is the pump will take a reading from the Dexcom every 5 minutes, and then it'll give me a correction if that's needed. And literally, I have never had such stable, consistent, good blood sugar. Before going on to the Dexcom, I would wake up regularly at like 12 millimoles per litre, 11 millimoles per litre, 14 millimoles per litre. Now, some of that might have been just the inaccuracy of the Freestyle Libre 2, but also it was just, you don't take any insulin at night, do you? Unless you take an extended bolus before you go to bed, you don't take any insulin. So what this does is it will just sort it out for me. And it's been so fantastic because I've barely had any hypos. And I just got all this sort of brain space back that I was using to worry about diabetes, to think about correcting diabetes. All of a sudden, like it was like I got back like some of my focus and attention, and I was able immediately to put that, into work, into just getting stuff done that I was procrastinating on. And honestly, I just didn't feel like I was diabetic for like a whole month. And that's maybe why I took like this break from YouTube. Because I'm in like a new sort of studio setup here, so I'm literally on a sofa, and I'm gonna chill out and cross my legs. Usually I'm like sat in an office chair when I'm recording videos, but now I'm on a lovely sofa so I can relax a bit. Anyway, where was I? So I completely forgot that I had type 1 diabetes almost, because at that point I was doing loads of exercise, I wasn't eating very many carbs, so I almost wasn't taking much insulin at all. I wasn't having to bolus a lot because I just didn't need to. The pump was doing it all for me. So it was fantastic, and I almost felt like I didn't have anything to say about diabetes. Yeah, I made a few TikToks and stuff. There's one TikTok that you should watch when I show you how I sort of messed up my first Dexcom application, and it left me with this like wicked bruise. I can't remember which arm it was. I think it was this one, the arm that I put my first Dexcom in, and I put it on like here, and if you're listening, I'm pointing to the front of my arm rather than the back of my arm where my Dexcom is right now, and it left me this incredible, huge purple bruise. yeah, I basically just got really excited and just jabbed it in wherever I saw first without really thinking about it too much, and it left me this incredible bruise. But apart from that, I wasn't really sort of into making content. I didn't feel the need to talk about diabetes. And then that made me think, well, has all my content to date been complaining about diabetes? Is that why? Because I've got nothing to complain about. Does that mean that I don't make content anymore? And I think, there's a bit of fun, isn't it, to talk about our mishaps and mistakes with diabetes, and to poke fun at the things that we all do and the things that we hear from people. So, yeah, I don't know. I just felt like there was nothing to say, really, so I didn't say anything. But now I'm back. And I'm back because my month of fantastic blood sugars was ruined one weekend. Not this weekend, just gone, the weekend before. It was a sunny day. I'd just been on a massive walk. I've been down to the Portishead beach here and seen the lifeboats and sat in the sun, stopped at a pub and had a Diet Coke, a pint of Diet Coke. And I think I'd probably done I'm back on the F45, by the way. I'm back doing my F45 classes at home for now, but I am going to be going back to the studio at some point in the future. Just can't seem to find the time right now, but I'm going to be getting in there very, very soon. So yeah, I'd done exercise that day. I'd been for this huge walk. I drank a Diet Coke, no sugar in there. So I stopped off at the Co-op on the way back to get a few no alcohol beers, Budweiser Zero. It was like no sugar, no alcohol, like zero carbs. I think they weren't that nice. I mean, they're all right, but like, I don't know. I guess they did the trick, maybe. But I think I drank half of one, and then I've still got 3 left in my fridge. So I obviously don't like them that much, but I'm not going to trash them too much, because all right, if you don't want to drink alcohol but you fancy a beer, then there you go. Have a non-alcohol one. Yeah. I drank Ukrainian beer last night, but that gave me a bit of a headache. Anyway, so I bought, as well as this low alcohol beer, I bought some snacks. So I bought some nuts, which is always a great low carb snack, which doesn't spike your blood sugar. But I then also bought crisps, which I thought I could rely on. Back where I used to work, I worked with this girl called Emily Horn, and we used to buy Popchips all the time. We always bought Popchips. We'd go through bags and bags and bags of Popchips. Now, they never used to spike my blood sugar, but having maybe 2 servings of Popchips, it sent me right up to 17 almost immediately, and then didn't come down for 4, 5, 6 hours. It was crazy. I was giving myself so many corrections, and it just wasn't coming down. And I was really confused about how this happened. I thought my pump had broken. I thought my site was leaky. I thought the Dexcom, God forsake, the Dexcom might be inaccurate. Oh no, what am I going to do? But then I realised the only thing that's different here is that I haven't had Popchips in maybe a year. And then over the weekend, I ate a fair amount of Popchips. I had the barbecue flavour and I had the salt and vinegar flavour. And now that was vinegary. You know when salt and vinegar stuff is spicy? These were spicy crisps in a not spicy way. They were very vinegary. Enjoyable though, and I had it with a sour cream dip, and I had some guacamole too that I bought from the shop. So there's me just reading a book in the sunshine, chomping away on these crisps. And then I'm like, what the hell is going on with my blood sugar? It took me a day or 2 to realise that it was Popchips that did it, because I was so confused. I was so absolutely confused, because since I've had the Dexcom, I would struggle to get over 14, 15 at the absolute most. And that's when I've, had a very, very carby meal. I didn't pre-bolus correctly. I maybe haven't taken enough insulin, or I've had some chocolate or sweets or ice cream or something like that. Something that I would expect that's going to spike my blood sugar. I would struggle to get over about 14, 15. Now this was like 17, I think it went to 19 at one point. Now this shouldn't be happening. I've got a Dexcom, I've got control IQ, and ever since I've had control IQ, I'm really, really good with carb counting now, because you have to, or else it doesn't work. If you don't put the effort in, then the algorithm or whatever robot brain is deciding what my blood sugar should be at that moment and what corrections it should be giving me isn't going to work properly if I don't give it the right information. So I've been really sort of eagerly retentive about trying to get the carb counting right. And honestly, it was so frustrating because I was doing everything right. I was being the perfect diabetic. I was being the teacher's pet. And, you know, literally I like weighed out the crisps. They were 15 grams per serving. That's quite average for crisps, really. A little bit extra for the guacamole. Expected a little bit of like delay because of the sour cream and chive dip. But, you know, I didn't eat the whole bucket of it. So I wasn't expecting that much, but nevertheless, there's me freaking out. It honestly ruined my day, freaking out that I was heading to 17 and I still had 2 arrows pointing upwards, and I was like, when is this going to end? When is this going to stop? And I remembered, in that moment, I realized, oh my God, I haven't felt this like this in a month. Oh my God, I haven't had to deal with the stress, the anxiety, the frustration of my blood sugar doing things that I didn't expect, because the Dexcom has been doing it for me, and it's been like doing a really good job of it until that point. And I had to I had loads of these Popchips left, basically. And I was basically going through everything that I ate, and I was thinking, what did it? What caused the spike? And by the time I got to the Popchips, I thought, I can't be the Popchips. I used to eat Popchips all the time. I've never experienced this before. But I got to the Popchips and I tried the Popchips again. I've still got some barbecue ones in my cupboard right now. I tried it, I tested it with the salt and vinegar ones, and there it went. There was my blood sugar going upwards with 2 arrows pointing upwards. So the really, really annoying thing with this especially was because I, like I say, haven't been like going like urgent high, you know, dangerously high since having this this Dexcom on. So I wasn't prepared for what my pump would do with that information. I think I found some settings now so it doesn't do it as much, but because my blood sugar was consistently over 14.3, whatever the upper limit of my range is on the pump, it was vibrating. It was alerting me like every 5 minutes. And, you know, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep because it was just going, and I was literally going out of my mind because, like, what do? You can't take the pump off and throw it away. You can't stop it from vibrating. I mean, you can. I did find out later that you can stop it repeating the warnings, but even so, it still does it like a lot. It still does it like sort of out of your control. And no matter how much insulin I was taking, it just wasn't doing anything. And I just couldn't understand how crisps, how, you know, potatoes that are popped and not baked or fried, Popchips, how it could be doing this. It just went right over my head, and I was so confused. And honestly, I'm a bit scared about eating crisps now, because I'm like, oh, I don't want that to happen again, because it was so annoying, and my pump was so annoying with it. It's like there was like 2 whole nights of sleep where I just couldn't sleep because my pump was vibrating constantly. I ended up in the end switching back to insulin pens. And then that started a whole nother process, because finally, eventually, all the stacked doses that I've been giving to myself through my insulin pump, well, then they caught up with themselves, and then I just give myself a load of insulin from my pens. And there's nothing more annoying when you feel like you've splurged a little bit with food, and then it's taken you too high, and then you've overcorrected to then have a hypo where you need to eat more food. I just find that so annoying. It's like, so I've worked out today, I've gone for a massive walk, and then I had an unhealthy meal that night, but it's okay because I've exercised and I've been for a walk. that'll cancel out the unhealthy meal. Oh no, not when there's a hypo around. Then you have to eat even more, and it's sweets and it's sugar and it's chocolate, and then you just feel just crap all around, especially if you haven't slept that night. So you've got eye bags, dark circles under your eyes, your face is puffy from eating all of the carbohydrates that your fridge has to offer. Your fridge or cupboards. I don't keep many carbohydrates in the fridge. So yeah, in my month of blissful ignorance about my diabetes and maybe a little bit arrogance, I went and enjoyed a bag of crisps, which brought me crashing back down to earth and rudely reminded me that I have type 1 diabetes. But yeah, I sort of had to work a little bit towards it, but I'm back to trusting my Dexcom now. I am struggling a little bit with getting round it with exercise. So there's an exercise setting that I can put on before and during exercise, but I haven't cracked it yet. I still am having a few hypos because I'm exercising most days of the week now. I'm doing F45 at home, I'm going swimming, and I'm getting loads and loads of steps in. I'm like walking every day, like my whole lunch break I'm going for a walk. Basically I'm out of my rut that I guess I was in. A chapter of my life has closed and I'm feeling reinvigorated and full of energy. Sorry, I think I just swallowed some dust that's flying around. I'm not great at dusting. So yeah, I'm just reinvigorated and I have just like this need to exercise again. And I want to, and it just keeps me in check. It keeps me healthy. I eat good when I exercise. It keeps, the brain ticking over, keeps me in a positive mood. And yeah, I do F45, I go for walks, and I'm swimming. I'm gonna go swimming again tonight. I've been swimming most days, £5 a time, quite expensive for most days, but I'm gonna get a membership. So it's like 25 quid a month. But yes, I am. The camera cut out before, so I don't know how much of this we've heard already, but this weekend I'm taking my Dexcom and my pump to a festival for the first time together. I've taken my tandem to a festival before, last, I don't know, September maybe, August, I don't know. It was sometime last year, I think. Honestly can't remember, couldn't tell you. But I'm going to Bolter Festival in Chepstow this weekend, so I'm going to do a little bit of a video about how I am diabetic at a festival. I'm going to do a video on my Dexcom, and I'm going to try and record another podcast before I go to the festival, so I've got something to put out. If you want to see, by the way, my content earlier, I do have a Patreon account where you can join for as little as £1 a month. You just get to see the videos earlier. You just get to listen to the podcasts earlier. And then what I might try and start doing, if people want to sign up, then is do some live streams. Like I say, I'm going to be bringing some guests onto the podcast. I'm going to get the return of the panel podcast sorted very, very soon. And yeah, what that will mean is just access to the content early and hopefully the live streams. I might just try and live stream these podcasts anyway on TikTok and YouTube, just to get the ball rolling. I just needed to get this one recorded and get it out of the way before I forget today. So yeah, lots of plans, back into coming up with content ideas and putting them together for you. I've got loads and loads and loads of videos like in the can, just need to be put together and put out. So I'll get those to you, I promise, very, very soon. I'm aiming for one video and one podcast a week at least, and TikToks in between. So, I'm putting in the work. And if you want to support me, there is a Patreon channel too. There's also a Spreadshirt and Teespring shop where I've designed some little diabetic accessories, t-shirts, hoodies, pouches and stuff like that. So if you fancy supporting me, then you can do. There are two ways, but there's absolutely no pressure. And there never will be. My content will always be free at the point of use for anyone who needs it / wants it. So there we go. That is an episode of Jamie and the Broken Pancreas. The story of how I almost forgot that I was type 1 diabetic and then was rudely reminded by a bag of crisps. If you want to follow me across my social media channels, I am at jamie.lowe on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube and Facebook. It'd be great to see your faces. If you want to send me a DM, Got any questions, want to talk about something to do with diabetes or indeed anything else, just drop me a DM, or you can email me at hello@jamie.lowe.co. That's hello@jamie.lowe.co. And I always say this, and I'm yet to get many responses in this regard, but I mean, if you want to come on the podcast, if you have an idea of a discussion, you've got something you want to shout about, then please do get in touch. Email me, get in touch with me on social media, and we'll do a podcast together. But that is all from me today. Thank you so much for watching. That is all from me today. Thank you so much for watching and indeed listening if you're doing that. Please, if you can, leave me a review or a thumbs up on this video. I'd love to know if you've experienced anything similar too. So if you're listening on the podcast, there'll be an option where you can leave a response. And if you're watching on YouTube, then just use the comments box below. I'm going to be back later on this week telling you all about the things that I've learnt with my Dexcom as I insert a Dexcom sensor. So do stay subscribed to all of my feeds so you can see that, and I will see you then. Thanks for listening or watching, whichever one you did. Bye bye.